Thank you all for attending. My name is Tyler Eden, and I am the Technical Support Lead for the EZ-ELD. Today we will talk about how to edit driver logs. Welcome to the EZ-ELD webinar on how to edit driver logs. This session will give you a greater understanding of how driver edits and carrier suggested edits are completed within the Stoneridge product. The majority of you are new to using the ELDs and are trying to understand how the ELD mandate affects your business or daily tasks. We need to remember that the driver is in control of his or her duty records, and carriers can only suggest edits to help the driver to comply with its hours of service. Remember the harassment rule when applying any suggested edits towards drivers. Ultimately, they have the final say in accepting any suggestions. Today we will cover driver edits using the EZ-ELD application and also carrier edits using the back office. This will consist of adjusting an existing duty status, adding a missed duty status, creating a new duty status with an interval, suggesting a change of duty status, and suggesting a new start time of existing duty status. By law, you cannot edit or make a manual entry for the following: automatically recorded driving events created by the EZ-ELD, any other event edited that would cause any subsequent reduction in recording driving time, an intermediate log, driver's log in, log out activity, CMV's engine power up and shutdown, ELD malfunctions and data diagnostic events. Driver edits. Here we can see from the driver's duty status that he recorded an on duty not driving at 2:30 a.m. He actually went on duty at 1:30 a.m., so his records need to be adjusted accordingly. Here we will show you how.
We will start on the main driver's screen after logging into the application. Select the Previous Logs button on the bottom left of the screen, where you will see a list of your previous logs. Select the 8th of January, where we need to correct the duty status. We select the first activity on duty, not driving, by selecting red paper and pen icon on the right of the activity. You are presented with the main edit screen, where we adjust the on duty, not driving to 1:30 a.m. Grab the red dot on the time bar and drag it to the left to a time where you actually came on duty. You can also move the time bar by using the start time box as shown. Once you've made sure everything is correct, enter the location and fill in the notes field, making your annotation required by law, indicating the reason for this edit. Then press Save. You can now see that the edit has been created. Go back to current day's log and you will see that all days have now been corrected. Go back to today's log and now all duty window counters should be set to the correct settings.
This demonstration will cover one of the most common mistakes made by a driver: forgetting to go on off duty at the end of the work shift or day.
We will again start from the main driver's screen after logging into the application. Here you can see that the current duty is on duty, not driving. This is not correct. Also, the countdown clocks are in most cases set to 0. So we have to rectify the day that the driver last worked to resolve the issues. Select the Previous Logs button on the bottom left of the screen, where you will see a list of your previous logs. Notice that some days are showing 24 hours of work. This is obviously not correct. Select the 8th of January, the day where we last worked and needs to be corrected. We need to add an activity of off-duty. This can be done by selecting the red plus sign on the bottom right of the screen. You are presented with the main edit screen, where we have access to create our edit of off-duty. Grab the red dot on the time bar and drag it to the right to a time where you actually went off duty. You can also move the time bar by using the start time box as previously shown. Once you have made sure everything is correct, enter the location and fill in the notes field, making your annotation required by law, indicating the reason for this edit. Then press Save. You can now see that the edit has been created. Go back to current day's log and you will see that all days have now been corrected. Go back to today's log and now all duty window counters should be set to the correct settings.
Adding a new duty status with a start and end duration. Our driver has not declared a duty status from 12 o'clock noon to 3 o'clock p.m. of on duty not driving as he was loading the trailer at this time.
Once again, we start from the main driver screen after logging into the application. Select the Previous Logs button on the bottom left of the screen, where you will see a list of your previous logs. Select the log for the 7th of January. We need to add an activity with duration of on duty not driving from 12 to 3 p.m. This can be done by selecting the red plus sign on the bottom right of the screen. You are presented with the main edit screen, where we have access to create our edit of on duty not driving. Grab the red dot on the time bar and drag it to the right to a time where you actually started your on duty not driving time. You can also move the time bar by using the start time box as previously shown. Once the time bar is on the start position, select the time interval on the right. Select the red button again and drag to the right to a position of 3 o'clock. Once you have made sure everything is correct, then again we need to enter the location and fill in the notes field, indicating the reason for this edit. Then press Save. You can now see that the edit has been created.
Carrier edits. For example, an edit showing time being switched from off-duty to on-duty not driving could be annotated by the carrier to note: driver logs training time incorrectly as off-duty. The edit and annotation would then be sent to the driver for approval.
In order for use to carry out driver edits, we need to log into the back office. Once we are into the back office, we have to select Driver Management on the left-hand menu. We need to scroll to the driver that we need to edit. In this case, we are going to select and edit Stephen McClellan. Select his driver logs icon. We are now presented with his record of duty status displayed graph format and activities listed below that. As a carrier, we can see the mistake by the driver at 7 o'clock as off-duty, when in this particular period he was training. So we need to change this record to make sure we are helping the driver to keep complete and accurate records. So in this case, we need to go to the activity of off-duty at 7 o'clock in the activity list below the graph. Then select the time field, and then you will be presented with the main edit screen. You can see that the actual duty to be changed is already highlighted in red from 7 o'clock a.m. All we need to do now is go to the bottom of the form and change the duty to on duty, not driving. Then by law, we have to annotate against the remarks field, giving the reason for change. In this case, we enter training. We then need to preview the modification by selecting preview. You will be able to see on the graph the suggested change highlighted in red, and it now shows as on duty, not driving. To save this change, we then have to select Save on the bottom right of the form. This change will be sent to the driver so that when he next logs into the application, he can check carrier edits, which he should be checking daily. This will then allow him to accept or reject the suggested edits. I am now going to press Save. As soon as the save is taken, you will see a message as successful. If I then scroll down and look to the right of the activity screen alongside the off-duty at 7 o'clock a.m., you will see pending driver approval. Once the driver has accepted or rejected, then that pending driver approval statement will disappear. I am now going out of the back office and into the driver app to show you the driver process of dealing with the suggested edit. Here we are in the main driver screen. One of the things a driver should do daily is check for carrier edits. The way to do this is to select Previous Logs. On the top of the screen, you will see a row of tabs: Unidentified Logs, Driver Edits, and Carrier Edits. Select this one. You will see the suggested edit by the carrier. The top record is the current duty status, and underneath, the suggested edit of on duty not driving from the carrier at 7 o'clock a.m. The driver can then either confirm or reject the edit. In this case, I'm going to confirm the status change by selecting Confirm. That is then processed, and we are taken back to the main driver screen. I will now go back into the back office and confirm that as a carrier, the suggested edit has either been accepted or rejected. We are now logged back into the back office and viewing the driver's records under Driver Management. As you can see from Stephen McClellan records, the record status has changed to on duty not driving at 7 o'clock a.m., which means this has been accepted. If we look at the records list under the graph at 7 o'clock a.m. and look to the far right, we will also see that the statement Driver Edit Pending has now gone. If we want to see a more detailed breakdown of log activities, then we need to select All Logs located just underneath the driver name. Then if we look at the records at 7 o'clock a.m., we can also see a statement Inactive, Changed. If it was rejected by the driver, we would then see Inactive, Changed, but have the wording underneath that statement saying Rejected. That completes this example.
All right, next example. In the back office, the staff have noticed that the driver went off duty too early. They know from our records that he went off duty from working in the yard at noon.
Start in the back office on Driver Management. Select driver Stephen McClellan and select his driver logs. Select the log for the 6th of January. Now select under the duty status graph the off-duty status by selecting the time value field. You will then be presented with the edit screen. You will see that the duty that you are editing will be highlighted in red. Now select the new time event field and change the time to 12 noon. You now need to enter the remarks field and give the reason for change. Next, select the Preview Notification button. You will then notice that the new time has been applied. All that is left to do is press Save to save the changes. You will see the successful message and the pending driver approval on the activities list. We will now go into the application on the phone tablet to see how the driver accepts the suggestions. Once again, we are in the main driver screen. We then select Previous Logs. On the tabs at the top of the screen, we select Carrier Edits. You will see the suggested edit by the carrier. The top record is the current duty status, and underneath, the suggested edit. All the driver has to do is confirm the edit. Once done, the event successful message appears. Go back to the main driver screen. To confirm the changes, select Previous Logs. Look for the 6th of January, and you will see that the edit has been saved successfully.
All right, guys, today we covered driver edits using the EZ-ELD application, carrier edits using the back office. That included adjusting an existing duty status, adding a missed duty status, creating a new duty status with an interval, suggesting a change of duty status, and suggesting a new start time of an existing duty status. So at this time, I just want to say thank you for coming out and listening to our webinar here. So at this time, we're going to take the time out and answer any questions. All right, a question has come in asking, will we get a copy of today's webinar? Yes, we will post it to the website, and also we will send it to your email directly for all the attendees. All right, we got another question here. It says, how often should we follow up with the drivers and making sure their logs are up to date? Honestly, I would suggest every day, at least until you know that they're comfortable and that they know how to view, edit, and make logs correctly. Any more? All right, we got another question from Amy. Will you be doing more training, such as the error codes? Also, what are the requirements to send to the FMCSA? So we will be doing more future webinars and error codes as well. As far as it going to the FMCSA, you just need to send your logs within the past 8 days. You're able to do so in the actual app itself with the police hat in the upper right-hand corner of the app. You have the option to enter in an email address. You also have the option to do an on-screen road inspection. So whatever is need to be sent would send with just that click of a button. So that will wrap that up. All right, guys. So any further questions that comes in, we will respond via email. And also at the end of this webinar here, we're going to have a survey at the end. In this survey, it's going to ask you, what would you like in the future as far as being presented in the webinar? So please respond. And again, any questions, we will respond via email. And I'd like to take this time out just to say thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.